Copperhead Strike, which is the new double-launched MACK RIDES coaster for 2019 at Carowinds, is insanely crazy amazing. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing it and giving my thoughts on it. The layout of intense coaster elements starts basically immediately with this really big and awesome JoJo roll, which gives a lot of hang time, and the restraints on this coaster really do allow that to happen with them being very comfortable and very allowing when moving. And so then you roll into a little barn with a pre-show, which I will talk about the pre-show a little bit later when we talk about the scenery, but it's just a little bit nothing universal like. And then you go out your launch, which really isn't that forceful, and into a vertical loop, which makes sense why the launch isn't very forceful, because you get so much hang time. And then into an airtime hill, and then into some corkscrews, and then you do a couple of banking turns, some with airtime and then some on the ground, and then you get an airtime hill right into the second launch, which is a bit more forceful, and you go into a little bit of an airtime hill and then up into an inverted top hat, which gives a lot of airtime hill. Then you bank to the left, and then you get another vertical loop, which gives another amazing amount of airtime or hang time, and then another banking airtime hill, and then another one, and then you turn, and then another banking airtime hill, and then it's just so much banking airtime hills after banking airtime hill, and it's so much banking in general, and you really are flung out of your seat throughout most of this layout. That back half is a little bit rattly, but the layout itself is amazing. So talking about the theming to this ride, it is a bit confusing, but I'll give you guys my opinion or what I think about it. But looking at the first sign or the entrance sign and the theme, like it says Copperhead Strike, and you think snakes, and because a copperhead is a snake, and on the logo there's actually a snake. But if you look closer to it, it actually has like a metal bronze feel to it, and it looks like more of a piping system. So that kind of feeds into the rest of the theme of this Blue Ridge Junction area and the theming of this ride, since it really is an illegal jam substance being found out in this ride. So like going through the queue, you see a bunch of jam areas and like keep out, and this is restricted area and all that stuff, and it really kind of builds up that thinking that it is illegal and something conspiracy, something like that is happening back there. So and then you roll into or out of the station and go into the pre-launch area, and then that kind of tells you exactly what's going on, since the creators or owners or whoever that are in there to kind of finds you snooping around their area and factory, which is that building, and then they are coming after you, and that kind of fits the theme of the train actually, which is themed after a car, and it kind of shows that you guys are driving away from them and you guys are like going crazy trying to get out. So they're chasing you throughout this layout, and then when you hit the brakes, it actually says something like, "Oh darn, we lost them," or something like that, and then that kind of just ends the chase there. So that is what I believe the theming to this ride is. So my final thoughts on this coaster is that this is an amazing, really fun, really good coaster with an intense amount of hang time. The launches are pretty fun. They don't need to be that forceful for what it gets accomplished, and it's just a crazy, amazing coaster. To me, this is my favorite coaster at Carowinds. You guys can check out my top 10 Carowinds roller coasters. I made a video on that, and you guys can see where I ranked the other coasters at this park. And then this is actually a really comfortable ride. The seats are very comfortable. The lap bars really allowed a lot of hang time and a lot of ejector getting thrown out of your seat. So that was definitely a plus on this. I did find the front row on this coaster to be the best, and scenery is kind of confusing at first, but if you kind of understand it, then it really does make sense, and it is pretty good themed ride. And then overall, I would definitely give this an 8 out of 10. It's really solid. There are some things that could be improved, like maybe the clarification of the scenery, and maybe the rattliness in the back part of the coaster, and it's really actually exemplified in the back part of the train, so the front is good because of that as well. But with those two things being said, this is still my favorite coaster at Carowinds. It is super fun, super fast, crazy, and it is just amazing. With that being said, this is going to sum up this coaster review on Copperhead Strike. It is an amazing coaster. It is great. I would definitely recommend this coaster. If you ever coming to this park, make sure to ride this. And make sure, if I would definitely ride this in the front row. I believe it is way better than the back. You get way more hang time as well, and it is just way more smooth, I guess you could call it that. But if you guys want to see where I place the other coasters at Carowinds in comparison to Copperhead Strike, make sure to check out my top 10 coasters at Carowinds, and that link will be in the description for that. But until my next video, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and make sure to have an amazing day.